everybody, today I'm going to be reviewing this Sweetheart Longline Underbust made by Mystic City Corsets, code MCC36. So here's the front, the side, the back, and the other side. The center front of this corset is 10 inches high, and from the peak of this little sweetheart right underneath the bust line there down to the lap is again about 10 inches. The very shortest part around right here is actually closer to 9.5 inches, and in the very center back it is 11 3/4 inches high. Today I'm wearing a size 22, which has a rib cage of about 30 inches when measured straight across, and a low hip of about 36 inches when I measured it. If you go onto the Mystic City listing on eBay, it says that the hips will be between 36 and 38 inches for the size 22. So this is very well suited for curvy and pear-shaped figures. I would consider this style to have a fairly conical rib cage, but still very dramatic hip spring here. And it almost has a hip shelf where it goes out and then down. This corset may be better suited for somebody who has a fairly short torso from the waist to the underbust. I am fairly long in the torso in this area, so I prefer a little bit more support over my diaphragm. So I actually prefer the comfort and the aesthetic of the MCC34, which I reviewed last week, over this particular style. When I turn to the side, you can see that the bust tends to bow inward a little bit. So if you actually like having a little bit more pressure in the front of your abdomen, then this may be a good fit for you. However, I do find that it kind of flares outward away from my lower abdomen at the very bottom there. If you have a little bit more pooch, or if you tend to squish downwards, then this may actually spoon over it a little bit better. But for me, it's flaring away. However, I really do like the high back here because I tend to squish upwards and I tend to have a lot of flesh spillover, but you can see that the back is quite high, very supportive, and I don't have any spillover in this area. So here's the MCC36 laid flat, and for the materials it seems to be two main materials, not including any possible interfacing. The fashion fabric is this sort of coarse weave bull denim. It's very much like a twill, except it's a little bit larger. And then on the inside here you can actually see that it is herringbone couture. So if I kind of bring it up, excuse the lint, but you may be able to see the herringbone weave. This style has the Mystic City Corsets label, and here it says 22 inches or 56 centimeters. And then on the other side of the corset you can see it's 100% cotton, the laundering instructions, and the country of manufacture. Turning this corset to the side, it has a 6-panel pattern, so 12 panels total. 1, 2, 3 makes the front, 4, 5, 6 makes the back. You can see the nice swoop upwards so that you have the nice high back. There's a lot of curve for the hip between panels 3 and 4 right there. And for the construction, it looks like it is made with the welt seam method. So instead of having all of the fashion fabric layer assembled together and then all of the lining layer assembled together, they actually put both the lining and the fashion fabric together and assemble one panel at a time, top stitching as you go. You can also see the outline of a waist tape stitched invisibly between the layers, running right from this front seam at the busk all the way to the back by the grommets there, and it's about 1 inch wide, so you may be able to see the shadow or the outline there. And here's a close-up of the binding. It looks to be made from commercial satin bias tape. It is machine stitched on both the outside and the inside here. You can see that on the outside it is stitched in the ditch, so you don't see any sort of top stitch right there. And on the underside you can see that there is that little necessary top stitch to secure it in place. And there's also 6 garter tabs, 3 on each side. They do extend down a little bit below the binding. I noticed it when I was wearing it, but you can fold it up underneath if you really want to, or you can actually remove it if you don't wear garters like I don't. And here's a close-up of the expandable hip ties laced with 1/4 inch wide purple ribbon here. It is supported by a bone right there, and the grommets look to be in good condition. And here is the way that it is laced in the back. There's also a little cute bow in the very top here above the busk just to keep the top together. And this is laced with double-faced satin ribbon, which is actually quite nice quality. I didn't notice that without the bow it was flaring too much at the very top, and if it did, then this Modesty placket in the center front here kind of covered up any of that gaping. But this bow is really nice decoratively. This corset came with a stiffened and separated Modesty panel that was actually suspended on the laces, but as I'm borrowing this corset from a friend, she actually took out the Modesty panel and I didn't want to actually go through and lace it back in. It has the bull denim on this side and the herringbone couture on this side. It's laced in. Suspended on the laces with these grommets here. You can also see that there are horizontal bones here and then vertical bones running through there. So it is both flexible and also able to, I guess, conform to the curves of your spine. So this panel is 6 inches wide and it's more of a rectangular shape. It's not the sort of hourglass shaped Modesty panel that you saw in the MCC34 last week. And this one also has the binding all around the border. This one also has a Modesty placket in the front underneath the knob side of the busk. It extends out a little bit more than ½ an inch, but unlike the MCC64, this one is actually unstiffened. It has no sturdy bone inside, and I figured they did that because this busk is actually a 1 inch wide heavy duty busk. So this busk is 8.5 inches long and it has 4 loops and pins equidistantly spaced. Like I just said, it is a fairly wide busk, 1 inch wide on each side, but it's advertised on the listing as being fairly flexible, I guess, so that you can get that curve inward at the very front that some people like. And this corset has a total of 20 bones, not including the front busk and not including the Modesty panel. It is mostly double boned on the seams here with what appears to be 1/4 inch wide spirals, 2, 4, 6. Between panels 1 and 2, it's single boned, and between panels 5 and 6, it's single boned, presumably because this style might not have been able to fit in an extra bone with the size. These are very flexible, more flexible than some other spirals, but they do appear to be steel. And in the back here, sandwiching the grommets, are 2 ½ inch wide flat steel bones, and these feel to be about standard flexibility or standard stiffness. And here's a close-up of the grommets. There are a total of 22 of them, 11 on each side. They are size 0 with a wide flange around them, and they are equidistantly spaced. You can see that all of them are holding in very well. And here is a close-up of the underside of the grommets. So they all have nice big washers. They've all rolled really nicely. I see very few splits in these and they don't seem to catch on the laces. However, these laces, I believe, were not the original ones that came with the corset. So this was the original cord that came with the corset, and it's purple to match the other ribbons in it, and it appears to be like a round braided cord, a little bit springy. My friend didn't like the springiness, so that's why she switched out the laces. So actually it came with the purple and also the black here. These were the accessories that came with the corset. And you can also see that it comes with some elastic garters here to go with the garter tabs that are sewn into the corset. And the corset and all of its accessories came in this little dust bag here made of canvas, and it has a zipper on the bottom, the Mystic City Corsets embroidery here, and a little transparent window so that you can see which corset is inside. The MCC36 Sweetheart Longline Underbust is available in Mystic City Corsets shop, which is only on eBay, and it is $75. So this concludes my review of the MCC36 by Mystic City Corsets. I hope you enjoyed it and you found it informative. If you have this corset, let me know what you think of it in a comment down below, and I'll see you all next week for another video. Bye!